Christmas to everybody out there, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful evening of our Advent calendar. And I thought because it's getting cold and it's getting more of a reflective time of the year, that storytelling is always really nice. So we're going to bring you a couple of Christmas stories with a beautiful message. And so get your cozies out, get your tea out, grab onto the couch, and sit back and let's enjoy together. So the first story I have tonight is called the A Littlest Angel, and it's a sweet little Christmas story. So, a very long time ago, long before anybody living on Earth today was even born, there was no Christmas. There was no beautifully decorated Christmas trees, no gift giving, no singing carols, nobody stuffing themselves full of Christmas dinner and pudding. And that's because it was a time before Jesus had even been born. There was such a thing as heaven, of course, the home of the most amazing angels who flew through the skies with beautiful white feathered wings. They wore long, flowing white gowns, and their hair fell in waves and curls down their back. They were tall and strong and swift, all except the littlest angel, who was tiny with short curly locks. She just got her wings and was only just learning how to fly. One day the Archangel Gabriel made a big announcement. "Tonight," declared Gabriel, "we will fly to Earth to honor the birth of the Prince of Peace. We will sing hymns throughout the world and will spread waves of great joy to the people." The littlest angel jumped up and down with excitement. Tonight was the night she had heard so much about for weeks. The big angels had been planning the splendid celebration. Would she even be allowed to go along? The littlest angel's singing voice was still weak, but she had a worse problem. She couldn't fly as fast as the others. It wasn't really looking good. "Unless I get a head start," she thought, and this cheered her up. "If I go now, I'll be in Bethlehem before the others get there, and they're all going to be pretty surprised to see me." Just at that moment, the littlest angel happened to be walking beside heaven's crystal sea. On the shore grew thousands of starflowers with their golden centers and 5 white pearl petals. Starflowers were valued on Earth as a sign of hope, and would surely make a lovely gift for the newborn infant. So the littlest angel gathered a bunch and stuck them inside of the sash in her robe. It was time to test her wings in a way they'd never been tested before. The littlest angel climbed atop the highest cloud, and then she jumped. Miraculously, her little baby wings spread wide, and the littlest angel glided in the bright air. Now the wings began to beat, and she aimed for planet Earth down below. When the littlest angel landed, she looked around. Where did Bethlehem lie? The sun was setting, and there was no one in sight. But then in the distance, she saw a village with houses of mud brick and stone, so she headed down the dirt road towards it. Along the way, the littlest angel heard this pitiful little sound from a nearby olive tree, and a mother dove was cooing sadly from a high branch. Below her, her little baby had fallen from its nest. It was struggling to fly, but it had no success. It was too young. The littlest angel picked up the bird. "You poor little thing," she said. Up the little angel flew and settled the little dove gently in her nest. The mother thanked her with all her heart, and a starflower fell from the little angel's sash and landed where the dove had fallen. Suddenly in the distance a bell rang out through the winter evening. The littlest angel came to a one-room hut and peered inside a window. There sat an anxious young mother, watching over her little son, who slept fitfully in a cradle. The littlest angel could see the child's skin was hot and damp, and bits of its hair clung to his cheeks and his forehead. The mother rocked the cradle and wept softly to herself. The child opened his feverish eyes and smiled as the littlest angel tiptoed in. The angel laid a cool hand on the baby's forehead, and the fever went away instantly. Soon the child closed its eyes and slept soundly. As the littlest angel walked back through the door, a few starflowers fell from her sash, and a second bell rang out. It had begun to grow dark, so she left the village and continued down the road. Her wings hurt too much to fly, and she had no idea where she was headed. She was so tired that she almost forgot why she had even visited Earth in the first place. She was lost too. Where on earth was Bethlehem? The littlest angel seemed no nearer to the end of her journey than when she began, and she now had only a single starflower left, and this troubled her. What happens if I lose this too, she thought. I'll have nothing left to give the baby Jesus. As if to make matters worse, the little angel stubbed her toe on a stone in the road. She hopped around, holding her injured foot, and suddenly overhead a host of angels flew past, singing glory to God. Oh no, she cried. I'm too late. A short time later, the littlest angel heard the sound of bleating nearby. In the bushes beside the road there lay this tiny little lamb that had broken its foreleg. She took pity on the suffering creature and gathered it up in her arms. Come with me to Bethlehem, said the angel. That is, if I can ever find it. The last starflower slipped unnoticed from her sash and fell into the dirt road, and a third bell rang out through the night. The littlest angel carried her pitiful burden down the road, and it seemed to get heavier and heavier. Her arms and legs were sore with fatigue. At that moment she thought she might have to stop and rest. The littlest angel glimpsed light shining from far off. The closer it got, the more it seemed to be coming from a stable. We'll stop there, whispered the little angel, for the lamb had fallen asleep in her arms. When the angel and her little lamb got within a short distance of the stable, they were greeted by the most amazing sights and sounds. On the ground, several people had gathered. They were mostly poor and humble. 3 men, bearing costly gifts, rode camels and were dressed in rich robes. The people were oddly quiet, but every now and then the littlest angel heard hushed words being spoken in strange languages. Overhead, in the darkness, flew the scores of angels in a fiery blaze of light. Some were singing hymns, while others played shiny horns. High above shone a single star, brighter and steadier than any the little angel had ever seen. She walked through the stable's bright doorway and was so astonished by what she saw that she nearly dropped the lamb. There, in the straw, sat a pale but beautiful young woman, holding a newborn infant in her arms. A bearded man wearing robes that, dusty from travel, looked on. The littlest angel knew at once that she was in the presence of Jesus and his parents, Mary and Joseph. She laid the lamb in the straw, and she reached for the last starflower, but it wasn't there. Mary smiled lovingly on the littlest angel. I know what you're thinking, she said sweetly, but you have brought a far greater gift, a creature in need. The baby Jesus reached out, and with his little hand, he touched the lamb's broken leg. In an instant, the animal leaped up and ran around. Not only that, added Mary, but your good deeds have caused the chime of love to ring out 3 times tonight. And because of this, I ask that you visit every year and bring this music to the people of goodwill. The littlest angel was overjoyed. Such an important responsibility for one so little. She flew back to heaven in a burst of speed, and every Christmas, you'll hear this magical bell ring out. That is, if you've been kind and good throughout the year. So, the reason I chose the story was because I think it's got a pretty nice message behind it about giving. And Christmas is coming up soon, which means we're all starting to think a lot about giving gifts to our families, to our friends, and the people that we care about. But typically we tend to think of, we go for this traditional way of gift giving, that we buy something material and we give that to somebody else. You know, we buy something that we think that they might like, and then we wrap it up and we give it to that person. And I just thought that the story was so beautiful because it kind of points out the fact that gift giving can be so much more than just a material possession or a material item. Gift giving in the form of care, or in the form of giving someone your time, your energy, and your love can be so much more powerful for the person who's receiving and the person who's giving than what we can imagine. So yeah, I have one more small little story which is a little bit more modern, just to kind of really bring home what I mean about different ways of gift giving, and it's called I don't know, Reggie's story. It doesn't really have a name, but we're going to call it Reggie's story. So Reggie's brother gave him a calf as a Christmas present. On Christmas Eve, Reggie came out of his office and he saw a boy admiring his shiny new car. "Is this your car, mister?" he asked. Reggie nodded in affirmation. "Yes, my brother, he gave it to me for Christmas." And the boy was surprised. "You mean your brother gave it to you and it didn't cost you anything?" "Boy, I wish..." He hesitated. Reggie knew what he was going to wish for. He was going to wish he had a brother like the one Reggie has. But what the little boy said was far beyond Reggie's expectations. "I wish," the boy went on, "that I could be a brother like that." For a few seconds, words failed Reggie. And then impulsively he added, "Would you like to take a ride in my car?" "Oh yes, I would love that." And after a short ride, the boy turned towards Reggie. His eyes were glowing and he said, "Mister, would you mind driving in front of my house?" Reggie smiled a little. He thought he understood what the little boy wanted. He wanted to show it off to his neighbors that he could ride home in such a big car. But Reggie was wrong again. "Will you stop where those 2 steps are?" the boy asked. He ran up the steps, and in a little while Reggie heard him coming back, but he was not coming fast. He was carrying his little brother, who was physically challenged. He sat him down on the bottom step and then sort of squeezed up against him and pointed to the car. "There she is, buddy, just like I told you upstairs. His brother gave it to him for Christmas and it didn't cost him anything. And someday, I'm going to give you one just like it. Then you can see for yourself all the pretty things in that Christmas windows that I've been trying to tell you about." Reggie got out of the car and lifted the lad to the front seat of his car. His brother, whose eyes were gleaming with joy, climbed in beside him, and the 3 of them embarked on a memorable holiday ride. That Christmas Eve, Reggie learned what people mean when they say it's more blessed to give. So, yeah, another little heart story, just to bring home how much it can mean to other people to receive a different kind of gift at Christmas times. And so the task for this Advent calendar day is to try and find somewhere or somebody that you care for and give them a different gift this Christmas. Try and find a way that you can maybe spend time with them, or show them that you love them, or give them some kind of care that they would really appreciate. Even just being there for someone and listening to what they have to say can be one of the biggest gifts a person can receive. And you can even use these moments as a way of building more connection with your loved ones. So it can be really beautiful in that respect. And thank you for joining me for this evening of storytelling, and we'll see you again soon. Merry Christmas.